Hello guys, this is the last KDE version of Linux Mint. Yeah, Linux Mint released their last KDE version with 18.3. 18.3 is released in 2017. So since 2021, this Linux Mint version became deprecated. So what to do if you want to use Linux Mint with an KDE desktop? I personally don't recommend to install and use the KDE desktop with Linux Mint because the Linux Mint software isn't optimized for any KDE desktop nowadays. So I personally recommend to use Debian with KDE. You don't have any Ubuntu with snaps or something like this. You only have a bare Debian with a great tool. I come to that in a second. And just a vanilla KDE desktop you want to use if you are in the KDE universe. In this video, I will show you how to install Debian with the KDE desktop as a beginner with an awesome tool which is called Linux Assistant. It's a tool I wrote myself. It's completely free and open source. You can check it out in the video description or at linuxassistant.org, and you can use it on Ubuntu, Debian, Linux Mint, and so on. I also did a video about this. We will use it to configure and install our Debian KDE. So I would say let's start. At first I click to download. For these who are familiar with Debian already, don't wonder, there's now an automatic downloader. If you click on download, you don't come to another site here. And after that, you have to create an USB boot stick from that ISO file with, for example, etcher.io. Here we have it, or just use an USB image creator tool of your current Linux distribution. For example, on Linux Mint, you can use the USB creator, I guess it is called in English. I'm just using Linux Mint in German right now. But yeah, after that, I would say let's start our computer from our fresh boot stick from Debian and let's get through this. If you started from your USB stick, you will get this menu. Just select the first one, graphically install, and let's start the installation. I will get you safely through this. It's a bit more complicated like in Ubuntu or Linux Mint, but yeah, you will get this with me. So at first, let us select our language. In this case, this is English, so I select continue, and then we can select our location. I'm in Germany right now, so I select other here and select Europe and select Germany in my case. Now I can configure my locale setting. I will use the locale setting from the United Kingdom. I select continue, and then I can select my keyboard, and I'm using also a German keyboard right now. It is in my case here. I click it or double click it, and then the Debian installer is loading the installation media and some components of it. Now it's configuring the network. This takes a moment, and after some time you are asked to define a host name. So this is the name of your computer, which is gonna called. I'm selecting Debian KDE right now and select continue. Now I can configure a domain name. Regularly you don't have to do this, and so I select just continue, and this is completely okay. And in the next step, we can configure a root password just if we want. If you are familiar with Ubuntu or Linux Mint, just leave this empty. Then the user password will also be your administrator password. Otherwise, if you put in here a root password, sudo isn't gonna be installed, and I would say many of you don't want this, so just select continue here and don't enter any root password. I select continue. Now we can define a full name for our new user. I'm selecting here my first name and select continue, and then a username is proposed. This is okay for my case. I select continue, and then I can now define a password for my user. I'm typing it and re-entering it and select continue. So perfect. Now the clock is gonna be configured and it is detecting all hardware disks, and now it is proposing us some steps. If you are installing Debian next to another distribution, you can choose here now use the biggest empty disk space. I personally go now with guided use entire disk. This is because no system is installed right now on my computer, and so I can use this. You can also go manual ways, but I don't recommend this for the first step. If you are installing Debian next to another system, make sure you have some disk space empty in your partitioning and use the option here, guided, use the biggest empty area or space, something like this. So in my case, I select use entire disk and select continue. Using entire disk means it is destroying your complete data on that hard disk you are gonna now select. I select in my case the only hard disk I have. I select continue, and then we can define a separate partitioning. I personally recommend to use all files in one partition. On my machines I have another data partition next to my system partitions so that the home folder is also not connected to any other Linux distribution. This is, in my opinion, one of the cleanest ways. If you want to do something else, just do it, but I personally recommend all files in one partition is completely enough, at least especially for the beginning. I select continue, and then it is proposing us partitioning layout. This is completely okay for me. I select continue and then write the changes on the disk. I have to select yes here, and after that I'm clicking continue, and now it is installing the base system. Let's wait for a second. After some time we are gonna be asked if we want to insert some more installation media. I don't want this, you usually don't want this too, so just select continue here. Yeah, no, and then continue, and then this is okay for us. Now I can configure the package manager. Just use a mirror in the near of you. I'm selecting Germany because I am in Germany, and select here a special server. Just select something which sounds good. I personally using some universities, and I'm selecting continue now. Just select something local nearby, and this is completely okay. The HTTP proxy information, you don't have to do this in the most cases, so just leave it empty and select continue, and then we are configuring the mirror, and apt is configuring itself, so it is installing the base system after that. Let us wait for some seconds or a few minutes. After some minutes, Debian asks us if we want to participate in the package usage survey. I personally do this. If you don't want to send any statistical information to the Debian project, just keep it at no and select continue. Perfect. Now we can select our software. I'm deselecting GNOME in here and select KDE Plasma. This is all we have to do. Just leave the rest as it is and select continue. Perfect. Now it is downloading and installing some software. This could take some minutes, so see you in some minutes. After the installation, Debian asks if we want to install the grub bootloader, and you want this at the most times, so select yes here and select continue. Then we can enter our device, on which device grub is gonna be installed. This should be the partition, or this should be the hard disk from which your computer starts normally, and in my case it's the only one here, so I select continue, and now grub is installing itself on the defined hard disk. Okay. After some seconds, now the installation is complete. So I select continue down here, and Debian is rebooting. And if everything is correct, the Debian boot menu shows up. I select the first one, Debian GNU Linux, and I boot Debian up the first time. Now I can enter my password, which I configured at the installation, and I select enter, and we are gonna logging in now. And here we are at our KDE Debian desktop. Now we want to configure our Debian, and for that we are gonna using the Linux Assistant, how I said it in the beginning, and let us open up linuxassistant.org, and I select download.deb here. After some seconds, the linuxassistant.deb file is downloaded. I open it up via the folder symbol here, and I right-click the deb file and select open with discover. After some time, I select install right here at the right top corner and enter my password, and we select OK. After some time, it is installed. I close our Discover and I close everything, and let us head over to the Linux Assistant in our menu, and here it is starting up. At first I click on next. Now it is recognizing our system. This is correct in my case, so I select yes, and now I can configure Linux Assistant to open faster with an hotkey, which is in this case Alt and Q. I select yes, setup hotkey, and now it's time to set up our computer. I select let's start here and select let's start again. And at first we're getting a message that Flatpak isn't installed on our system. I highly recommend it for access to many hundreds of Linux apps. I guess they are about 1,800 now. That is a lot, so I select setting up Flatpak. I have to correct that to set up Flatpak, and I enter the password and select OK. Now it's setting up Flatpak. After some time, this is complete. I click next, and now we can select our favorite browser. I'm heading with the Firefox here. It is completely okay. I am selecting next. Now we can select our Office suite. LibreOffice is completely okay. It is installing or keeping this with the check on the right top corner, and I select next. In this case, this is completely okay, and here you can choose different communication software. I'm selecting Thunderbird. I want this to install, and in the end I select next. Perfect. And then we are heading over to the automatic configuration, and it is proposing to update our system to the latest version. I highly recommend that. And then also to install multimedia codecs, which are very important to play some video formats. I highly recommend that too. Also, you could set up automatic snapshots. It is using TimeShift for that. I'm deselecting this one. In my case, I don't want this at this test installation, but if you're using your computer on real hardware, select automatic snapshots here. And in the end, you can also configure the update manager completely automatically, so it is setting up unattended upgrades. I'm keeping these three selected and select next. Then we're gonna ask to our password. I select OK. And now our system is setting up itself. It takes some time, but while Linux Assistant is doing this stuff for us, I right-click the desktop and select Configure Desktop and Wallpaper, and you can choose, of course, the background you want, but I'm going to go with Mountain today because it has a day and night cycle, and in my opinion, this looks really, really nice. So yeah, we have a nice background also here. Okay, Linux Assistant is finished, so I select next and select let's start, and then Linux Assistant has installed and configured our Debian for a very easy use, and now you can just use Linux Assistant as you are familiar with, for example, to open some software, install some software, search for some folders or files, bookmarks of your browser, and something more. At first, I'm heading over to the security check of our Linux Assistant. I select OK, and it is now analyzing our system security, which takes a moment. And here we see, okay, we are almost good, but we have no firewall at the moment. So I select back to search and search for GUFV. I'm recommending this. And here you see install GUFV, install via apt. I select this one. I enter my password and select OK. This takes just some seconds. And after that, I'm selecting next. And here we are with our firewall. I open it up from the menu here. I search for via firewall configuration. I enter the password. And in the end, I'm selecting this. I'm enabling the status of the firewall. And now our firewall is also up and running. So that was it with the Linux Assistant installation of Debian. Now you can start it for your regular use. I personally recommend to pin this to Task Manager here and to, for example, switch the position right next to the menu. So if you want to do some administrative things which are not graphically included, or you want to just easily access them, try it with Linux Assistant, and there are many other functions coming in the future. So currently you are at Wayland mode. If you experience issues with screen recording or remote desktop software, I recommend you to switch to X11. I press leave here and press log out in this case. And after that you can select the desktop session here and select Plasma X11. Now I'm logging in back again and you see nothing. That's completely okay, but the screen recording or remote desktop software should now work much more better than without X11 at the moment. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If I would use KDE, I would use it like this. So have fun using Debian KDE. If you have comments or hints for new Debian KDE users, just leave it right into the comments. And see you next time. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Bye!